This is the Michelle Swinick 2.0 show, and today's 2.0 spotlight is on Robert BUTWIN, founder of AI Networking Exchange. Robert, tell us a little about you and your group.
Well, first of all, I've been networking full time since September 7th, 1990. I started networking back in 1984. Coming out of Minnesota, Harvey McKay is a 70-year friend of our family. He wrote the
Mhm.
book, Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. So I realized that my net worth was going to be in a direct relationship to the strength of my network. So the point is, the key in everything is how you're making those meaningful business relationships. So I've just, been doing it for a long period of time. Originally when I started, my whole life purpose was to make a lot of money. Now my life purpose is to live a life of meaning based on being of value to other people. And I see a lot of people based on what they're doing, they're underachieving. So my focus is to help people create the success that they deserve.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this here next, especially with the movement with AI, we're moving away from all this interaction, this personal contact, the networking. We're relying on the virtual systems, the fact that we're not communicating as human beings, and as you said, I love that you address we're not living up to our potential, and we need to. The As I call it, the database of diamonds is just sitting there. So we're doing a disservice to the people we know by not sharing the information that we have, the expertise, the product services. Um, that's our responsibility as good stewards of just humanity, whether we have shows, platforms, whatever, is to open our mouths when we find things that are successful or avenues for solutions, because that's what the whole point of having human to human contact is to help one another. So let's go deeper and tell us a little bit more about your full story, because I'm sure this is going to be a little bit longer interview than what we thought.
Not a problem. I grew up in the family business. Our family started the high school war cheerleading jacket business in the 1930s. Oldest
Mhm.
son, third generation, always expected to run the family business. Problem was too much family in the family business, and I realized the limitations that anybody and everybody has if they're just trading time for money. There's just too much, not willing to change and take a look at where things could go. So as I was trying to figure out ultimately how to get out of the family business, I ended up running a nightclub based on my ability to promote. Stories behind that. That was before I got married. And I have been happily married for 40 years to an amazing lady. And we just had our anniversary last week.
Wow. Congrats.
Thank you. So, but I saw the potential of number one, developing the right, meaningful relationships. Because again, money can't open doors, people open doors. So, um, you know, I wish I could tell you I was an overnight success. It wasn't the case. It took me 6 years from the time that I started as an entrepreneur to the point where I was able to leave the job market. I'm psychologically unemployable, have not worked a job since 1990, will never work a job again. But in the meantime, I got off stage one time and somebody asked me, was it easy? And I didn't have to stop and think, was it easy? My response was, no, it's not easy to be successful in life, but it is worth it. But I remember before I was successful, the lady I was dating at the time, who I actually got married to, we were walking and I turned to her as we're having one of these strolls through the parks. And I said, there's nothing or nobody that's going to stop me from being successful. Part of it is clarity in your intention, along with some kind of systematic approach. And I love the fact of system is shape your strategies to execute and multiply. And that's
Mhm.
always been the foundation is how can, based on utilizing your resources, because where I made millions of dollars is understanding how to leverage resources. Resources come in different forms. So, again, I wasn't an overnight success. I never thought I was going to create the kind of success I really ended up accomplishing. The only thing I can tell you is I was clear that I was going to be successful. There are always going to be challenges and things that you've got to go through and get through. And ultimately, as you're going to mentor other people, you're going to be able to look them in the eyes, speak from the heart, be able to empathize with them, and help them see things that they should have or could have known.
So we're talking systems, strategies. Explain to everybody, based on your experience, the power of having the right people in your network or the right people on your team, because obviously doing this alone, especially in the world we're in now, is really difficult. And you said things aren't easy. So kind of hit it home as to how the importance of aligning yourself with the right people and making that into motion so you can be successful.
Definitely. Everything changed for me in March of 2020, just like it did for
Mm.
many other people. And, I started reverting to online and meeting new people because it opened up a complete new world of opportunity. And two of the people in the AI networking exchange that I've ended up developing relationships with, one of them is a guy named James Feldman. His website is shifthappens.com. He's helped some very large companies increase sales $3 billion.
Wow.
She's got 16 different certificates, everything from a CSP to a law degree to an MBA to M&A. So I realized he had a lot of skills and he's way ahead of the game in AI. And I'll get back to that in a minute. The other person that's my partner in the AI networking exchange is Tom Gay. Tom Gay has created 7 different companies and grown them. The one that many of you probably heard of, grown them and sold them, that you might have heard of, is refer.com. He was a master at referrals.
Mhm.
See, part of what I realized is you got to stay in your highest income producing activity, your state of genius, whatever that is. But you want to have a team of people around you. And I love the acronym of team, which is together, everybody achieves mastery. You're only as good as your weakest link. So there's people what you call the upstream, the people that are your mastermind. There's the people that you're going to help, because what I've learned a long time ago, if there's a lot of confusion. It's like anytime I have a conversation with no matter who it is, I can tell them there's one thing that we can all agree upon. And what that is we know that we don't know the truth about most things. We know the truth is how the media spins it. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
confusion. There's a lot of people that are not creating the kind of success that's out there for the taking, and that
Mhm.
they could do that. All they have to do is get out of their comfort level. I mean, what changed in my life is I listened to a cassette tape series. For those of you that remember what a cassette tape is, by Wayne Dyer. It's
Mhm.
called How to Be a No Limit Person. So I realized for me to make things change, I had to first of all take responsibility for what is. Once you take responsibility for what is, you can take it for what will be. But most people are in a state of denial. And I love the acronym of denial. Don't even notice I am lying. So once I realized I could create the future that I wanted to create, all I had to do is change my mindset, take responsibility for what is, so I can create the kind of lifestyle that I wanted. And that is all now in a rear view mirror. Now my wife and I take at least one major trip every single year wherever she wants to go. I bought the t-shirt, Happy Wife, Happy Life. Last year we went to 6 countries in Asia. This year we're going to 5 countries in South America. We just booked our Norwegian cruise for another 9
Mm.
countries. So again, take responsibility. Everything that happens to you is there to serve you, and focus on your vision of what you want to create for yourself. And I believe it's easier to become wealthy today than any other time in history. And I can talk about that, but yes.
Yeah, let's go there. So because things are changing, and again, I find that once people are more into human human contact, even if it's somebody that is in your virtual world, picking up the phone, there's a lot of power in that. And yeah, we can do the virtual things because that's a great way to begin. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with him that you guys could see, right? Because that's awesome. But there is power in picking up that phone and having an old version conversation to take the relationship, networking, and collaboration to the next level. So go in that direction because you said it's easier now than ever before.
Yes.
Go focus on that because I want people to leave this interview with not only the love for Robert Butwin, the yearning that I must become part of the AI network exchange. But I also want them to say, all right, I learned these 3, 5, 10 things that I can do as soon as I finish this that's going to change my life enough that I could set it in a different trajectory. So now I am 2.0ing myself and everything that comes along with that.
Okay. First of all, the premise of why I know it's easier. I know the amount of money I spent on personal growth. Today, if you know where to look for it, it can find it for free. You
Right.
can go to YouTube, Jim Rohn, Wayne Dyer, we could go on and on about these people that have got some amazing information. Now, I like the 2.0, and to me, it's Zoom. I want to see somebody. It's like in March of 2020, I originally found Clubhouse, but I still couldn't see it.
Mm.
You and I met on Zoom. So the point is, my calendar is always out there. There's always a place where people can find me. Now, we talk about AI, and let me share with AI because AI is just a tool. It's something that can enhance. It's still, you need the human to human action. We look at AI as your accelerated innovation for your business differentiation. It's a tool that can help you. Yes, it's going to hallucinate. Yes, you got to check the work.
Mhm.
But again, it's a lot. It's allowing you to hire probably the smartest person around. Don't have to pay him. Doesn't take vacations, and it's there to help you. But it's still everything is based on human connection. You know, my whole business and everything that I do is human connection. But part of it is having that system. Having a place for number one for people to connect with you on a calendar. Some kind of a system that because I don't chase people. I'm not going to chase people, but you want to have a system that you can have top of the mind awareness so you can stay in touch. I have a lady that writes my newsletters for me and with me. Somebody I met through networking because again, everything that I do is A, networking and B, having meaningful business connections.
That goes back to what you said earlier about focusing on what it is that you do best or how you can go ahead and whatever your biggest income producing activity is or your whatever you shine at, and then you use the other experts or other business contacts or other people or hire or the AI to fill in the gaps in those things because there's only so many hours in a day.
Definitely. The biggest thing, and when we communicate with people, and the part of communication, you're always dealing with perception. The root of the word perception is precept. It's understanding what's going on. One of the biggest challenges that I see, or the biggest mistakes that people are doing, number one, they don't brand themselves, but number two, they're too focused
Mhm.
on just trying to sell somebody something rather than
Right.
understanding what's going on. Jim Philman taught me 3D thinking, discover what's going on in their world. The second D is the distance from where they are to where they want to be, and the third D is determination. Are they really determined to create the success that they say that they want? There's a lot of what I'll call wannapreneurs in the marketplace. They think that they want to be successful, but and again, what I quite often will do is I'll test people. I'll
Mhm.
say, have you heard of Jim Rohn? No. Or whoever it might be, I give them something they can do for free. It's not going to cost them, and they don't even want to do it. It tells me
Right.
why waste my time with somebody that's not serious and committed about changing their life.
Yeah, if they're not willing to do the work and the work is free and it might take 15, 20, 30 minutes and it's only helping them. It's not like you ask them, hey, here's something on my to do list that I need to get done. Can you do it for me? You're saying, I'm giving you information, a solution that no cost, so you can become a better person, a better business networker, make more money, or just overall become the 2.0 version of yourself. So I think that is one of the most important things is people don't need to beat somebody over the head to work with them or to chase them. uh, Let them go. There's another person willing to take that spot who wants that information. So, you know, you can have an initial interaction, leave a messages too. Whatever. What are your suggestions on a boundary or buffer before you say, okay, I'm going to let that person go? Maybe they'll come back. Maybe I'll put them on the I'll talk. I'll try again in 3 months, 6 months type of deal. So you're not beating a dead bush, right? Isn't that the saying, right? So you don't keep putting all of your efforts into chasing people that whether there's if they're too busy, they're too busy. Whether they're not interested or not interested. But then again, if that person doesn't have you the courtesy to say, "Hey, listen, I'm not interested," or "I can't do it right now," and they just ignore you, do you really want to work with that person anyway? Right? So you have to look at okay, guys, like you have to think about this, right? Like if well, I could tell. I'll give you an example. when I call people sometimes, I'm surprised they're like, "Hey, I can't talk right now." Or if I leave a text message or I leave a voice message, I'll get a text message. Timing's about good for me. Give me a month or two. Okay, that's great. So they didn't have to call me back because they probably didn't want to, or whatever the situation was. Or I'm on a call. I'll call you tomorrow. So that person actually good. But if then somebody you don't hear from them, they got nothing. Well, then you know what? There how many millions of entrepreneurs or people in the United States that need help or need networking? There's millions. Okay, so you're going to have to step outside of your boundaries, like you mentioned earlier, and find some new friends. And it's very easy to, especially if you have networking groups like yours and ours, the pod for the podcasters. So you have all of these, they're free, guys. You just have to take the step. And next thing you know, you have, that's how we met. We met in another networking group. And there was at that time with that Zoom event, there was like 70 people in the room. Okay. I just made 69 new friends. And do you know how easy it was? I clicked a button. See? So don't so comment on that because I know people just it's like the caveman, right? Remember the caveman, he goes in the cartoons, he goes out and he sees the woman and he hits her over the head with the club and then he drags her back to the cave. You don't have to do that with people that might want to do business with you or and sell or buy your products and services, right? So can help the people with that.
A variety of different things.
Yeah.
You know, hit the word boundaries, and the key is understanding your boundaries. You don't want to have to convince something that they're not open and ready for at that
Mm.
point in time. Now, Tom, one of my business partners has got Engage Pro. So if you've done your proper job of doing your discovery and understanding some of their likes or whatever, you can create a systematic way, and it's within that system that if, for example, you like maybe you like Ohio State football, for an example, I could have a I could pull up articles that I could drip on you every once a month, whatever it. But again, I'm not looking to chase, and quite often you can do what you call a takeaway. Michelle, when I met you, I really believe that you were ambitious. I get the fact that ultimately, the timing isn't right for you right now, but if I can stay in touch with you, and in the meantime, when the timing is right, because I can see that you've got so much more than what's going on right now, and I've got a systematic approach. I've got a way that you can change your life. It goes back to what Jim Rohn said: if people believe the promise, they'll pay the price. If
Mm.
they believe the fact that you can help them in a way, and maybe it's something that you're not doing that you might be able to do better, and that's why you want to have some kind of a mentor that can help you maybe refine slightly what it is that you're doing so that you can create the kinds of results, you can attract the right people. So there's many different systems and ways to attract the people, but I never chase because I know the value. If you understand the value that you can help somebody change their life, I've always leave the door open, and I'll give away the farm at the first 30 minutes, but afterwards I'm refining the fact that because I'm not going to waste my time with somebody that is not serious and committed about changing their life.
Yeah, I like the concept of the takeaway because it actually then kind of confirms the value to the person. And depending on where their personality, that might be the incentive where it becomes now the challenge where they say, "Oh no, I'm ready. I just don't have time right now." So oh wait, okay, now all right, now I'm in. Now okay, what is your deal, Robert? Like what do you got going on? Now you got my attention. That happened to me. I got tricked, okay? And it was a healthy, it was a healthy trick. A friend of mine did it to me and it worked. Okay. So if it's somebody that's doing it, it's because they know that you, as one of my mentors says, you've been marked. So you
Yes.
just need to open your mind because when I want people to kind of understand too, when paths cross or people come into your world, it's part of a bigger picture. Okay. There's no coincidences in this on this planet, right? So there's a reason for it. And you might think that, oh, I'm too busy, I can't handle it. Well, unless you have a full plate that is actually being extremely productive and you're making, I'm going to just use money as an example. You're making $1 million a year, um, then everything's going perfect, then I could say, okay, I don't have time for that right now because you've checked all the boxes. But unless you've not checked all the boxes, you're probably just going in a circle and you're doing busy work and you're not necessarily being as productive because you're not utilizing your skills, and that person actually knows that and they've identified it and you've been marked and they see it and they're coming to rescue you. Okay, they're coming to help you, and you are, and they might send a little note, a little nudge like that, and then all of a sudden you catches your attention, and then your life changes because you paid attention to somebody who's actually is has checked all the boxes, so they've shown up to help you.
Well, and let me expand upon what you said.
Mm.
Your person really didn't trick you. She had more belief in you than you had in
I
you.
know. I'm just I'm making fun and saying I got tricked, but I got tricked in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but the point is, they had more belief in you
Yeah,
than in you.
100%. Yeah.
Something greater there for you that
Mhm.
you hadn't recognized at the time. Then, when she helped you open your eyes, once she shifted your perception,
Mm.
then everything changed.
Yeah. What 100%. That's exactly what happened. So don't be afraid of the nudge, people. The nudge is there for the reason because you have somebody who's doing it better or smarter or has the experience, and they see the potential in you, or they see that you need the little bit of a life preserver, because it'll change everything. It'll change everything. So we're 21-ish minutes in. I want to do just a little bit longer. Again, I warned you from the beginning. This is going to be a little bit longer segment than the rest of them, just because this guy has a lot of experience. Okay, he doesn't have to work anymore. So when someone tells me that they don't have to work anymore and they can go ahead, as he told you, he's cruising around the world on more trips. I'm gonna keep them a little bit longer to suck some more information out of them for you, so you can go ahead and change your life. So give us a couple more tips on any category. I mean, you've got a lot more than just the networking. So let's go for a few more minutes and spew as much valuable content, quality content that you want them to leave with, so they just go, you know what, I can't wait to be Robert's friend.
Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about is multiple streams of income. And I love asking
Ah.
that if you haven't figured that out. Multiple streams of income is my acronym for that is SCALP, SCALP. It's your speaking business. If it's one to one, like, and to me, that's really where my strength is. And I've been on stages with thousands of people or one to many, but it's whatever your strategy when you're talking to people.
Mhm,
C is your coaching or consulting business. And I know you and I are involved with a business model that's based on helping other people, but there's
mhm,
different ways we can consult or collaborate with other people. A is your affiliate income. Um, L is where I've made the millions of dollars in a leveraged business model. Now, when I talk about leverage business model, it's leveraging resources.
mhm,
There's a variety of different kinds of resources. Your life energy is a resource. Your connections are a resource. Your wisdom is a resource. People are a resource, and money's a resource. So it's how you leverage resources in a way that will allow you to accomplish what you're looking for. And the reason I don't need to work anymore is when we were making lots of money, we invested wisely.
mhm,
We put a lot of money in gold and a lot of money in dividend paying blue chip stocks. Now, I don't give
mhm,
financial advice, but again, you always want to take a percentage of what you're making and invest it wisely.
mhm,
So multiple streams of income is always important because um, you never know what's going to happen. Your company that you're working for could get bought out. You could get, fired. Things change. Number one. The other part, if you're looking to reach the next level based on whatever you're doing, again, I've got a acronym for that. R is your reputation. Obviously, you've got an amazing reputation, Michelle, and I've just gotten to know you, but I'm very intuitive. I tell people I'm 10% intuitive, 90% grounded in wisdom and experience, but it's, your reputation. E, the experience that people have when they're in your presence. A is authenticity. People today, because there's so much hype and so much, uh, misguidance in the marketplace,
mhm,
tell how authentic you are or not. C is clarity. Most people, don't have clarity for a variety of different reasons. I mean, when I started off, and one of the things that really grabbed my attention, I was watching 60 Minutes, and a guy gets on from a food company, And he said, I work for a food company. My job is to make the food's addictive. Why do you think Lay's potato says, I bet you can't,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, that's where the opportunity is. If you can help people have a better chance of avoiding the degenerative conditions that they're going to probably attract. And to me, everything boils down
Mm-hmm.
to a simple equation. That equation is less and more followed with the right actions. Become more conscious and aware of the negative things you put in your mind and body, and do less, more of the right things in your mind and body, and do more, followed with the right action. So clarity, helping people get more clear on, number one, what they would like to accomplish in life, and your communication with whoever you're speaking with, having clarity. And H, were you helpful? So that's the key. And the key to success is luck. And what I'm saying, the key to success is luck. That's laboring under correct knowledge. So if you are laboring the correct knowledge, and you've got your a vision and intention of accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish, I can virtually promise you that you can create the success that you deserve. And I believe that everybody deserves to be successful today.
Let me ask you this. That's a lot of acronyms. Is there a book, a little like coffee table book that you have done yet with all these acronyms? Because I think that alone, even if it's 20 pages, that alone's a bestseller, Robert. I think you're missing an opportunity, and you can do that while you're on your vacation cruise.
You're right. And you're probably,
I mean, it's just it's nonstop, dude. Like you need to put that in a book.
you're not the first person by any means that has told me that.
Yeah, that's like you want to talk about low hanging fruit. I use that example all the time that the fruit in Arizona that people are not taking advantage of here on so many things, it's rotting on the ground. Like it's not, you can't even tell it's a lemon anymore because it's been rotting, the low hanging fruit. Dude, help me. I'll do it with you. Okay. Let's do it together. I have a whole bunch. I don't have as many as you, but we should do like a little joint effort. See, people, look at the beauty of the collaboration. I'm gonna make him do it because he hasn't done it yet. So him and I are going to do something like that because I think it's brilliant. I'm going to be a part of it. So now I'm going to force him to do it with me. See, beauty of the collaboration. All right, so we're rounding almost 30 minutes here, and I'm going to have you back on. We're going to do more of these segments. We're going to do shorter segments because I think that this and what one of the main purposes of doing this 2.0 your show 2.0 everything 2.0 you because I have 2.0 myself, right? Just in the past 6 months alone, you wouldn't even recognize me, what I look like, no less how I feel inside, and what I'm doing, and what I am, what my goals are about helping people and changing lives. So we're going to do shorter segments because there's so much in this episode alone, this segment alone, that you need to. This is all about repositioning this, okay? Because we're always doing this. And we're not seeing that if we just went like this, the opportunities right here. And before we got on, because I'm always big into the database of diamonds, this is your phone. Do you know that there's millions of dollars sitting in here in the power of the contacts of the people that you haven't even tapped into, regardless of it is even opportunities that have nothing to do with business. You let's just say you're single. There's a husband or wife sitting in here. You don't even know it because you haven't even tapped in to the resources for all of the contacts that you have met over your whole life, right? And I know that there's some good ones, and then you don't know who they know. And if you haven't talked to somebody in a couple years, could you imagine if you know that you have grown or you have changed and you have become, let's just say, a better person? And I'm using quotes because it's fun. So now you have a bunch of people you haven't talked to in a couple years, and they've gone through the same process. Now, can you imagine how many people that they know that you need to know now that could actually take you even further in whatever it is that you're doing, even just from your own personal growth? It's mind blowing. It's all right here. And what's the cost? $0. $0. So again, it goes back to collaboration and networking, and that's why Robert Butwin. And when you're working with Robert, you can do nothing but win. Okay, nothing but win. So Robert, give a closing statement and the website that you want people to find you at. Your call to action for
you
everybody
know,
today.
Closing statement. And I was doing an event in Arizona at one point, and the guy End of the event said, what I really want you to remember, if Robert can be successful, each and every one of you amazingly successful.
My doofus friend can do this and make millions. You guys can make 10 million, is basically what he's saying his friend did to him on the stage because it was fun. Okay.
Uh,
Oh, those are always the best friends to have. Those are the ones who give you the nudge, guys, to say, I'm taking it back. And then you go, no, I'm all in. Okay. That's the good trick.
Understanding the
Yeah.
success. The first one is fear, face everything and rise. The second one is faith. The third one is focus. The fourth one is fun. The fifth one is flexibility. And the sixth one is fail. And that's for all I've learned. Everything that you learn as you go through life, use it as a stepping stone to create the success that you deserve.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Robert, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to do more with you. And audience, you need to go ahead and visit his website, get to know this guy. And he'll be back. Don't worry. We're going to do some fun stuff together. I'm going to hold him to the book. So stay tuned for that. enjoy your new friend, Robert Butwin. Thanks for coming on, my friend.
My biggest preoccupation was the chronic disease epidemic. We are now the sickest country in the world. We announced this week, CDC announced, that 76.4% of Americans are suffering a chronic disease. And my uncle was president, it was 11%. In 1950, it was 3%. And we're the sickest country in the world. We have the highest chronic disease burden of any country in the world. And yet we spend more on healthcare than any country in the world. We spend 2 to 3 times what European nations spend. We spend nearly as much in our country for healthcare as all the other nations in the world combined. And yet we have the worst health outcomes. We've lost 6 years in lifespan and longevity to Europe in the past 20 years. Our kids, our girls are hitting puberty 6 years earlier than historically. Our young men have sperm counts that are half of what they ought to be. They have testosterone levels that are half of what they ought to be. We have diabetes that is now endemic, not just epidemic, it's everywhere. 38% of teens are now diabetic or pre-diabetic. When I was a kid, it was 0. And the autism rates, which the president is particularly concerned with, have dropped from less than 1 in 10,000 in 1970 to 1 in every 31 kids today. So this is a national security issue. 8 out of 10 of our children, of our young men, cannot qualify for military service. It's national security, it's our economy, it's wrecking. This is an existential crisis for our country.
Once I just flooded myself with this plant-based nutrition so the body could heal itself, all of a sudden everything started to go back to normal. The sleep was better. Hot flashes, they're gone. My bowels, I'm like a champ. Inflammation, it's like 2 different people. This is not from exercise, everybody. This is from nutrition. This is from supplements and skincare. To purchase products or get more information, go to savemyfreedom.us, click Get Healthy, 601-301-3503. I'm Michelle Swinick, and I'm back with the Save My Freedom movement, new and improved. It's time to get healthy, make more money, and change lives. We're looking to change 100,000 lives, starting with your own. The movement is on. New sign, savemyfreedom.us, savemyfreedom.us. All the information is there. Get on board, book a call. 5 minutes to making more money. It's time to get healthy, time to get in shape, time to make your business grow or start a new one. We got the tools, we got the support, and we've got a team to be with you the entire way. You're not doing this alone. So why bother? I start from scratch. Again, time to get healthy, make more money, change lives, join the movement, savemyfreedom.us. Let's do this together. Join us.
If you're looking to reach the next level based on whatever you're doing, again, I've got acronym for that. R is your reputation. Obviously, you've got an amazing reputation, Michelle, and I've just gotten to know you, but I'm very intuitive. I tell people I'm 10% intuitive, 90% grounded in wisdom and experience.
The tools and the resources, there's so many of them out there. As you said, there's no room for victimhood
Right.
because the tools are there. You just have to want to do it. But part of the show, why I'm doing it, is so people like you can be found and people can get those tools and they can change their lives, because you don't have to go through what you went through, and they don't have to go through the personal things that I've gone through, because we found solutions. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Solutions and feeling like you belong.
One of the main purposes of doing this 2.0 your show, 2.0 everything, 2.0 you, because I have 2.0 myself, right? Just in the past 6 months alone, you wouldn't even recognize me, what I look like, no less, how I feel inside, and what I'm doing, and what my goals are about helping people and changing lives. It's all about repositioning this, okay? Because we're always doing this. And we're not seeing that if we just went like this, the opportunities right here. And before we got on, because I'm always big into the database of diamonds, this is your phone. Do you know that there's millions of dollars sitting in here in the power of the contacts of the people that you haven't even tapped into, regardless of it is even opportunities that have nothing to do with business. Let's just say you're single. There's a husband or wife sitting in here. You don't even know it, because you haven't even tapped in to the resources for all of the contacts that you have met over your whole life, right? And I know that there's some good ones. And then you don't know who they know. And if you haven't talked to somebody in a couple years, could you imagine if you know that you have grown or you have changed and you have become, let's just say, a better person? And I'm using quotes because it's fun. So now you have a bunch of people you haven't talked to in a couple years, and they've gone through the same process. Now, can you imagine how many people that they know that you need to know now that could actually take you even further in whatever it is that you're doing, even just from your own personal growth? It's mind-blowing. It's all right here. And what's the cost? $0. $0. So again, it goes back to collaboration and networking.
Multiple streams of income is always important, because you never know what's going to happen. Your company that you're working for could get bought out. You could get fired. Things change.
We're your people, right? Because we're here to help people make money and get healthy. Because look, what does this say? What does it say? What does that say, Mike? Read that.
You can have everything in life that you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. How about that?
How about that? How about that? It's pretty much a brilliant statement by the great Zig Ziglar. And it's just a matter of, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to keep living the life that you're living? Or do you want to make a change, which requires 30 minutes a day, following some instructions, and make some money and get healthy? That's it. And have people there supporting you, showing you, guiding you, helping you, so you're not doing it by yourself. I did all that election stuff. I mean, Leo helped, but I did it all by myself. And I said, I don't want to do this stuff by myself anymore. I don't like doing things and starting from scratch and having to create it. If I'm going to do anything, I need a team. I want a group. I want people to support. I want a mentor. I want somebody to ask questions to. I don't want to have to spend hours trying to figure out. It's all done. We figured it all out. It's already finished. You just got to follow the instructions. If you're coachable, that's a way, because otherwise at the end of the day, this is us. We're just a bunch of low-hanging fruit that is so low to the ground that it's literally rotting. The opportunity of a lifetime. Don't let the opportunity of your lifetime be like the low-hanging, rotting fruit on the ground in 140-degree heat here in Maricopa County, Arizona. Don't let that be you.
Yeah.
Because 30 days is going to go by real quick. You're not getting any healthier, and you're not getting any more money in the bank account. And you don't want to live like that.
It's all about
live like that. You don't have to live like that. No
it's
more.
all about an ecosystem, which is very powerful.
But we did it. We put the ecosystem together. We put it together for the people. The business model of the people is now active. Okay? It's through the Save My Freedom movement. 2 complete digital platforms to build residual income, to get yourself healthy, to make more money, help other people Transform your life, get your time freedom back, get your health freedom back, get your financial freedom back, and a complete support staff and coaches and mentors who are making a hell of a lot of money, who have been doing this for a lot of years, and they know what they're doing. Right? It's just, and you don't even have to do the work. They're working for you. All you got to do is invite somebody to a webinar or invite someone to call me, and we'll do all the rest. That's all you got to do. I don't do anything unless I've done it myself. I don't do anything half-assed. You guys should know that by now. I don't align myself with other people that are not, that aren't more successful than myself, because I need to learn from them. I don't know the stuff, right? I'm not there to reinvent the wheel. I'm just there to help make it spin faster, so everybody can be at the same pace, and let's do this. I'm telling you, this is amazing. It's the solutions, guys. It's the solutions. It's the easiest thing you can do in your life, and it will change everything. Look,
I will just say
there's
that
the sign.
taking the country back, as you hold up the sign, taking the country back starts with taking our lives back, and it's not just about taking back our votes, it's about taking back our health and taking about our financial freedom as well. So I commend you guys.
So yeah, go to savemyfreedom.us, savemyfreedom.us. You subscribe to the Substack.
I'm so passionate about getting the message out that you don't have to be sick and you don't have to be broke. See, there's two paths that you can take when you're starting to partner with Live Pure in the sense of starting a business. We're not talking about customers in this overview. We're talking about you're ready to invest some money and see some return on your investment very quickly. You can invest $1,990 or you can invest $729. You choose. Let me show you the difference. Either one, you're going to subscribe for $165 a month of product. That must happen for you to get the paychecks I'm about to talk about. You're immediately going to go find two people who are interested in doing the exact same thing as you. This is one of the bonuses that I'm going to be basing your income on. The company pays 7 different ways. This is just one of those ways. It's called the team bonus. And if you come in with that $790 investment and immediately go find two people to do the same thing, at the end of week 2, you will have made $50 in the team bonus. At the end of week 3, you'll now have 2 new brand partners on each of your teams that have come in with that $790 order, and you'll have made $100 in your team bonus. At the end of week 4, you'll have made $200. At the end of week 5, you'll be making $400 that week. Let's fast forward down to week 9 and look at that check for that week would be $6,400. Let me break it down for you. With that $729 investment, you'll have made $800 in 1 month. So essentially, you'll have made your investment back in 1 month. You'll have made $13,200 in 9 weeks, and you'll be locked in to make $6,000 per week starting week 9. This is assuming that you have 256 new brand partners joining your team that week. This is pretty powerful, guys. And so what's going to happen if you start with the VIP package? It jumps. That first week that you have 2 new people joining you, you'll make a $150 team bonus. Remember, there's 6 other bonuses. I'm not talking about that. By week 3, you'll have made $300 that week. Week 4, you'll make $600 that week. Week 5, you'll make $1,200. Let's jump down to week 9. You'll be making $12,500 per week in the team bonus. This is what it looks like. You come in with a $1,990 investment. You're going to make $2,900 your first month. So you've more than made your investment back in 4 weeks. At the 9-week mark, you'll have made $33,400. And you will be making $12,500 per week starting week 9. Here's the key between the 2 different starting points. With the VIP package, not only are you getting the additional bonus payouts, but you are getting additional products from the company for your entire family to consume rather than just you. You're getting access to VIP mentoring and coaching from the top earners in this company, weekly Q&A calls, access to the leadership retreats that those top leaders put on for you. You're going to get increased commissions from the company for the next 6 months. You're going to get launch calls, mentoring and coaching that is only available to the VIPs. So the question is, where will you start? $729 or $1,990? Do you want to do this alone, by yourself? Or do you want mentoring, coaching, hand-holding, people who will help you build your team and duplicate? Duplication is the key here. And with that $1,990 investment, you're going to have access to our VIP coaching and mentoring, where we help you duplicate to where you get to that week 10 and you are reaping the benefits of an explosion of growth in your organization and radically changing people's health and finances. Where else can you invest less than $2,000, make that investment back in 1 month, and have a 5-figure weekly income locked in by week 10? Where else can you do it? 17-year-old company, wealthy owners, products in the physician's desk reference, and over 450 healthcare providers recommending these products across the country. Welcome to Pure.